Hi, I'm Stephanie Hammeter, and this is my final project for EdTech 5310 with Dr. Elwood. My final project is an integrated recycling unit, which should cover a couple of weeks, I'm estimating. It's geared toward 5th grade students. At the left-hand side of the page here, you will see that I've organized it according to days. Each day has assignments and objectives, and it's meant to be followed so that a substitute could step in, or a student misses a day of school, they know exactly what they have to do. The parents also can follow along with what we're doing in class. At the very end, mostly for teachers, parents, and administrators, I've included the TEKS. As you can see, it's going to cover reading, language arts, science, social studies, technology. There's going to be quite a bit involved, so it's going to be something we're going to work on every day. Let's look at day one. Every day we're going to start out with a response activity. The very first day they have some pictures to look at, and then they have to decide what they think happened here, what's going on in the photos. Then after each little blurb on the top of the day, they're going to go to the discussion section, and they're going to write me a little note about whatever it is in the response activity. So today it was comment on photos, so they're going to click on there. As you can see, I have a few comments already with what people think happened here. The wiki page, unfortunately, doesn't do a lot of threaded discussion. It's basically, a post, and then you can see people responding to it. It doesn't go very many levels at this point, but I'm thinking that's okay because they're 5th graders and they're probably just learning this sort of thing. After the response activity, I have some learner objectives, and it's written more toward the 5th grade level so that they can follow along themselves. This can be something that, if they miss a day of school, they can pick it right up. The first day, we're going to watch a couple of news clips about the trash crisis in Italy, specifically southern Italy.
This is what the streets of Naples looked like 4 months ago. Buried in garbage, hundreds of thousands of tons of it. Today, some of it is still there, rotting and rancid. The people who live here are disgusted and outraged.
There's just a little blurb, give you an idea. So we're going to kind of go through what the Italians are going through there. There's a few more photos from Time magazine here with a few little blurbs. And their assignment for this day is going to be a concept map using Webspiration. So it's going to be web-based. They're going to need to pick out of the photos and videos some causes and effects of the problems that the Italians are having. And here they're going to have a little checklist of things they need to complete with their map. They need to work together. They need to include some causes and effects, and possibly come up with some of their own ideas and not necessarily just pick things straight out of the movie, so a little bit of higher thinking. Their homework for this night is to go home and discuss with their family. Do they recycle at home? How often? There's a website for them to visit if they have website access at home. It's kind of a neat website that lets you put in how much your family recycles and then what the effect of that is. How many trees has your family saved? That kind of thing. Day 2, the response activity is recycling in your home. They need to come back and tell me exactly what it is that their family does. And if their family doesn't do anything, well, what are some things that they could be doing? I've had a few responses. We recycle newspaper, aluminum cans, and somebody complaining that they think this Corpus Christi doesn't do quite enough as far as recycling is concerned. So some good comments there. Again, some learner objectives. We're going to have a lot of class discussion this day, and I think the kids will be really excited. We're going to have pen pals from Italy, from that region, so that we can discuss with them what are some of the environmental effects that they have going on there. So on this day, we'll be receiving pen pal assignments, and our assignment for today is going to be writing a letter to our pen pals. They're going to need to know the appropriate letter format. They're going to need to talk to them about the Italian crisis there, about recycling, about environmental things. And because they are just learning English there, it's important that our letters contain the correct grammar, the spelling, the punctuation. So this is going to be a graded assignment for them. And once again, I've built a rubric for that. They're going to need to include all of the parts of the letter, the capitalization, the grammar, the content, the format. All of those things will be graded. All right, on to day 3. Our discussion for today: why should we even care that Italy has a garbage crisis? I have a few people who have responded. Shark Boy says we should care because the wind could blow all the trash into the ocean, kill fish, and wash up on beaches all over the world. So he has a point. It's not quite just Italy's problem. Today they're going to be looking at how long it takes things to decompose in a landfill. If we're dumping all of our trash in a landfill, well, how long does it stay there? They're going to be doing estimating. Then they're going to go and find out from this website, Healthy Kids Go Green, to check their answers and see how far off they were. And their assignment is to go to create a graph. This is an online program. They have to decide which kind of graph they need. They have to they have to figure out the x-axis, the y-axis. They have to input their data. So they're going to end up with a final product, and they're going to post it right down here. Here's an example of one. So that by the end we'll have, this is a group activity, by the way, so we'll have probably 4 or 5, maybe a couple more than that, graphs posted right here for everyone to see and compare and contrast. Also, this will be a grade for them for science. So they have a rubric once again that they have to go through. And when they're done with that, I have given them some websites to explore. These websites are going to be used over the next couple of days, but I wanted to give them a little head start on exploring some of them because there is so much information there. So day 4 and 5, these just kind of take a while, so I gave them 2 days for this. Their response activity is first to look at this chart and for them to see, well, the United States is number 7 with the highest recycling rate, and Italy is not even on there at all. So maybe perhaps that could be some of their issue. Today and tomorrow they're going to be doing a lot of research, and the best place for them to put that, I think, is on their concept map that they started on day 1. So they're going to be adding to it. When they're done, they're going to have a grade because it is so much information. I'm looking to see that their map has grown from day 1 to day 5. I'm looking to see that they've included information about recycling, about the Italian garbage crisis, and hopefully they'll have at least 3 hierarchies on their map. And I'm looking to make sure that the content in it is not way out of left field, that it's at least covering the right topic. And then they are to put their final example of a map here. Here's an example of a final map, maybe when they're done. The Italian garbage crisis here that we did on the very first day. And then the days 4 and 5, we will have added things about the U.S. garbage status. And if you'll notice here, we have a link, full landfills. Well, that was one of Italy's first problems in the first place. So hopefully when they're done with this, they will see that it's not just Italy's problem, it is a global issue. And day 6 through 10 is their final project. The response activity for today is to listen to a podcast that I've created, challenging them to come up with a project that we can do for a school-wide recycling program. We're going to kind of look at what our school does and see where the holes are and see what we need to fill in. And if that goes well, perhaps we could even make it into a community-wide project. Their final project will be a voice thread. They are to go and use their maps for all the information, but then they need to go and find on the internet some pictures, videos, those type of things. And they're also going to need to create a script for this voice thread, and that is going to be in the form of persuasive writing. So They're going to be trying to persuade someone who has never recycled to recycle, and that is going to be a grade for them as well. They have several things that they'll want to be looking at. Their point of view, was it clear throughout the voice thread? Did they include images, other media? Some reasons to recycle. Did their presentation flow from beginning to end? How was their oral presentation? Was the voice quality clear? Could people understand what they're trying to say and how they were saying it? Did their group work well together? Because once again, this is a group project. And on their persuasive rough draft, I'd like to see that in there as well. The written form before they ever get started. They're making a plan, they're editing, revising as they go along. And here's an example where they will post their final voice thread for everyone else to view and comment on.
What do you mean you don't recycle? What's your problem? What's the big deal? Did you know that the U.S. is the #1 trash-producing country in the world? We create 1,609 pounds per person per year. In fact, according to the National Recycling Coalition, every 3 months, U.S. landfills have enough aluminum to rebuild our entire commercial air fleet, and Americans throw away enough office paper to build a 12-foot-high wall of paper from Seattle to New York. Wow, where does it all go? Mostly to landfills, but that won't last forever.
So that's just a little taste of what a final project may look like. And that is my project for EdTech 5310. With Dr. Elwood, an integrated recycling unit.